Good evening and welcome to the Chaska Human Rights Commission meeting for August 28th, 2025. Thanks for joining us at home and here in our City Council chambers. We don't have a quorum, although we anticipate one of our members arriving just in a few minutes. So we'll go ahead and begin our work this evening by talking about some of our committee reports. And the first one on our committee reports is talking about the Human Rights Celebration and combined with Dr. King in January of 2026. It sounds really weird to be talking about January of 2026 now, but this is the time where we begin our active searching for a guest speaker. And it's only fitting that if any of you have some ideas as a guest speaker for this event, to kind of raise them up at this point in time. I have reached out to Stacy Kumar Nelson, who is the Comcast liaison that has worked with this committee, the Dr. King Celebration Committee, for the past several years, active in our community, and she is more than willing to volunteer with us again. So that's great, but wanted to think about if there was an anticipation that somebody might have an idea to raise up. We certainly wanted to be included. And you can see that we are now fully at commission level, and our newest member has joined us in terms of the tiniest person on the commission. Welcome, Britt. So let's see. Hannah and myself are on that committee, so we'll be meeting soon, I hope, to begin more extensive planning.
Does anyone else want to join?
You do have an idea?
No, I said, does anyone else want to join our committee?
I would like to join.
Oh, woohoo! Excellent. Thank you so much. Look, your name is officially going on to the list.
Hey.
Yay! Great. Thank you. And for those of you who are viewing us tonight, if you're interested in taking a look at what the celebration looks like in January, it's on our YouTube page. And you can see not only the former or the past winners of the Human Rights Award, but also the guest speakers that we have had. So take a look at that. And it's timely because, as we all know, school starts. And if we are going to engage with District 112 students, whether it's through the middle school or the high school level, now is the time to kind of reach out to those instructors at the district and ask for their help. Now that we're all here, can we go back to the beginning of our agenda and do the roll call so we can officially have that on record?
Right. Commissioner Hubbard, Commissioner Duffy,
Here.
Commissioner Welbert,
Here.
Commissioner Sanderson,
Here.
Commissioner Hahn, here, Commissioner Mee, Commissioner Lesueur, Commissioner Gotti, Chair Carlson.
Here. Great. Can we go back to take a look at the agenda that was sent out to each of you? And please note that the agenda has nothing from our July meeting because sadly we didn't have a quorum at that meeting. So our agenda reflects the activity that we last held in June of this year. But initially I do need to have a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Hannah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Well, I'll second.
Okay. If that means if two of you second, then all of us will probably say yes to approving the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say no. Ayes, carry. So the minutes that we have, like, as I said earlier, reflect our meeting in June. And I know that that's, think back to before Pride is when we had our last meeting. And if there were any changes or to the meeting minutes from that meeting, I would entertain them at this point in time.
I make a motion to approve the June minutes.
Thank you, Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kichi. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes from June 26th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes, carry. So our treasurer's report. Elise is kind enough to maintain our balance for us. So would you like to share or update anything on the treasurer's report, Elise?
Certainly. There's not too much you haven't seen already. I think you had seen the June kind of expenditures, which came from Pride. So kind of just wrapping up that event. You had the T-shirts in there. You also had the cost of the River City Days booth, but going back to Pride, supplies that we had for Pride, the ice cream, as well as paying the face painter. So you had an unused Pride budget of $764, which is returned now to the balance because we've closed out that celebration. Our River City Days, you spent $50, which was the cost of having the booth there. And then we also determined that at the River City Days booth, the tablecloth that we bought last year, and then we bought clips for the tablecloth, they did not work very well, so we had to buy new ones. So that's the expenditure that you see for July, and there hasn't been anything since.
Great. Any questions for Elise? Well, again, I think, thank you for those who participated at the River City Days table. It was warm, as Jennifer can attest, but we had a good day on Saturday, met some good people, so certainly worth it. So thank you all for participating. Anything else with regards to our financial situation at this point in time with regards to the treasurer's report? If not, let's go back to our committee reports, and I think that next up for discussion is our Cultural Heritage Month. And there's a couple of things that are kind of in the works on cultural heritage. And I'll look to you, Britt, to do some updating about our discussion from yesterday. I had back-to-back meetings and sadly didn't participate except with texting with our meeting yesterday, but looking forward to hearing what you have to say, and I'll add to it.
All right, excellent. Well, we did confirm that we have reserved in November, I think it's the 14th?
14th.
Yes. We've reserved space at the, not the curling center, the
Event
center. There we go. Yeah. So we're a go in that regard. And the cost of that reservation is $1,700. And so it's possible that we'll be able to get some of that maybe prorated or covered either through the city, I believe is how that works at the end of the year. If they've got budget left remaining, then we'll find out whether we can get some of the cost of that rental covered. Otherwise, we are considering going to the Lions Club and or
And the Rotary.
and the Rotary to see if we can obtain some financial assistance that way to help cover the cost of that rental fee. And we are working with a member in the community, Cheaton, I think is how we pronounced his name, yes. And he has been in communication with various food trucks, so we're going to try and get 1 or 2 food trucks there. And then he's also been talking to other businesses in the community, with the thought being that we could set up some booths at the event for either Indian, like businesses that are, run by Indian community members, or that are part of the community, or that might, in some ways work within that community. And so we did discuss whether we wanted to have a nominal fee for people who are coming in and getting a booth for sort of more of a marketing exposure kind of plan. I don't think it's been officially decided, but it seems like there's a general consensus that for those kind of more nonprofit type of groups, the fee would be waived. And then we're also considering waiving the fee if the businesses would like to offer some other kind of assistance for the event. So either decorations or food or something of that sort. And then there would be, I know Cheaton is working with some youth in the area. He, I think, is directly involved in kind of managing some of those groups and is hoping that they'll be able to assist in various ways, either by serving food or by emceeing the event, or by performing, so which leads into the next point, which is that we are going to offer up performance spots for groups to come in and perform, most likely dances. And I think yesterday the general thought was that we would perhaps we would have slots for the regions of India, so like northern India, southern India. They have different kind of dances and performance styles that are specific to those regions. And so we think that it would be nice to highlight each of those regions and have people kind of sign up for those performances. And as far as food goes, so there's no confirmation yet on the food trucks. We're still sort of exploring those options. But the hope is that they might be able to provide some complimentary food to start. So it would be either like a cup of chai and maybe, I think there's a pizza truck one, so like a slice of cheese pizza. And we haven't yet established whether that's something that the commission would cover. The hope is maybe that at an event with 200 or 300 people, the food trucks would maybe be willing to offer these in goodwill. And then with the thought being that it would drive up, further sales, getting people out to the food trucks. And one way then to kind of control for that is maybe to offer tickets when people arrive. So you get one ticket, which would cover, a cup of chai and a slice of pizza or something like that. So that's sort of where we're at right now. And I think one thing that we needed to cover today was the budget and what the commission would be willing to approve for the budget for this event. Knowing that the event center is not inexpensive, an expensive rental. And last year we spent, I think it was just under $800 on food. And so we were thinking conservatively we could budget for that as well. And let's see, am I forgetting anything? That's all I'm remembering right now. I think we'd be able to reuse a lot of the decorations. But yeah, I think the event center and the food were the primary items on the budget that we would be looking to get approval on, with the hope being that we would be able to get some assistance from other community organizations. Yeah.
So as a background, Last year's Celebrate India event was held at the Lodge. The rental fee last year was $225. However, we were overwhelmed with the number of persons that wanted to be there, that could be there because of the space limitations. And so because of that just overwhelming success and desire to have another celebration linked to Diwali, but more focusing on a celebration of light, the group decided that maybe it's worth doing an additional year focusing on the cultures of individuals from India. So that's just a little background. Total last year's expense was $1,562.09. So I think it's probably a good idea that we talk about whether or not, how much in light of the treasurer's report that we just looked at, and also knowing that I have, Kevin Wright has confirmed for me that I will meet with the Chaska Lions Club Board next Tuesday. I have prepared a donation request application, which is a multi-page. They ask for who we are, why are we doing this, any other additional information, what partners are we seeking, what else do they ask for? Of course, they ask for how much money we are wanting. And I had a conversation with not the president, there are two presidents of the Chaska Rotary, co-presidents this year. I have not spoken to them directly, but I have prepared a similar request, which I plan on submitting to the Chaska Rotary. The question is, again, how much money do you think that we can ask for? And I certainly did not want to do that without your thoughts on whether or not we should proceed. And I think, Jen, you were at our Celebrate India last year. I don't know if you have any thoughts about why we would want to offer this event again.
Well, like you said, it was so well attended. I just feel like everyone who was there really just enjoyed it. We had so many people come and thank us for having the event, and they were like, when are we having it next year? And so that was good to hear, which is contributing to why we should have it again this year, I think, and just have it be a little bit maybe spaced out so we can breathe a little bit. And I was glad to hear about the dances that you were talking about, dance performances, because I think that was a real highlight last year. There was so much joy surrounding the people dancing and everything. It was really fun. And, you know, they taught us some traditional dances and had everybody joining in. And so it was, you know, it was a great way to celebrate together. I think it sounds kind of daunting when you hear that the venue rental costs more than what we spent last year, but I think it would be money well spent. And I think by thinking through the food truck situation and offering maybe some samples, but then if they want to get more, they have to, you know, buy it themselves, then I think that's a little better than last year. We ran out of samosas so quickly. And you know, people were thrilled they were there, but we didn't even think about any, you know, way of controlling how many people got and stuff. So
That's, I think, in part why we were looking to have some youth volunteers.
Yeah.
To sort of control distribution if we do end up buying food to have inside again.
Yeah,
This way we'd have servers who maybe put a cap. And you can go as much as you want, but as opposed to putting, you know, a heaping pile
Right.
of food on your plate and then it perhaps not getting eaten when someone else would want it. And this way we'll be able to maybe control the flow a little bit better and the distribution.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's really been well thought through, you know, of the different aspects, the things we learned from last year.
Yeah.
I know Kevin was there last year and he was at the meeting with you, correct? And so he probably had some insight into that crowd control and stuff like that. I would just say that when you guys, you know, let us know what the amount is you're seeking, then I think you have put a lot of thought into it, and I think that it would probably be an amount that would be realistic, because we do have quite a bit of money left, and I don't know what we still have planned for this year for big events, but
There's nothing kind of big. Sometimes we try and pay for some of the MLK Day stuff in there, but you also tend to buy swag for next year's River City Days out of this budget, which has typically been about $800 to $900. So if that gives you an idea of the past 3 to 4 years, kind of how the end of the year rolls. But this is your last big event for the year.
Sometimes there's some requests for like the ofrenda and stuff like that.
right.
We haven't, both Elise and myself have been in touch with the team at Latino Voices. Both Elise and myself have sent the appropriate funding request format to Latino Voices, so they have that. There is a meeting next week with the key people that have been participating with the ofrenda and the Katrina celebration. So perhaps we'll have a better time frame for how that request comes in. We'll just have to wait and see with that, with their request for funding for the ofrenda. So that's not a commitment at this point in time.
Correct. I have not received anything.
So when I submitted the proposal, or when I prepared the proposal for the Chaska Lions Club and the Chaska Rotary, I was thinking in my mind that we would try to offset the $1,700 fee. That is a big chunk of money. We can certainly try to reach out to other businesses in the community. And I guess I'm willing to do that on behalf of the commission. But my thought is that we could go to the Chaska Lions Club for an amount of $2,000. And we could go to the, for a similar amount to the Rotary Foundation, or the Rotary organization here in Chaska. I do not have a preconceived notion as to whether or not either would approve or grant a portion of that. As in all things, if they gave it to us, they wouldn't give it to us September 16th. They would probably send it in the next bill, or whatever their monthly cycle is. If we don't spend it, of course, we could always give it back. But a lot of it just depends upon, of course, their foundation, or their organization's funds. The idea to offset some of the cost with individuals setting up kind of like a bazaar area, $50 is a nominal fee. Against the big dollar amount of the rental.
I think we're also, I mean, if we're talking about having 4 different regions that have dancers performing, that could add up in costs if they get paid for performing. I know when we did the,
It's a volunteer. It'd be students.
oh, it would
and,
be, okay.
yeah, young
Because when we had the
individuals.
Africa one, then we had to pay the
The dancing,
performers.
yeah.
So the way Cheaton's explained it is that it's very important within the community to have the younger kids involved. And this is a way for them to perform in front of, family members and community members, and to get a better understanding of, sort of where they're from. And so I mean, there would probably be a few adults involved in performances as well, but it would be more of an honor for them to be able to perform in front of their community.
Okay.
Yeah, so my understanding is that there wouldn't be fees associated with that,
Okay.
which is nice.
Right.
Have you talked about henna artists?
Yes, we did
Okay.
actually talk about that in our meeting yesterday. We are going to, Cheaton is very involved in all of this planning, so I'm very happy that he has agreed to kind of help us guide the planning for this year. But he knows of at least, I think, 1 or 2 businesses that he's going to reach out to, because it was, we discussed on the call yesterday how successful that was last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many
Very.
people enjoyed it. And so there was a discussion this year about whether maybe we should have more than one henna artist.
Yes.
Depending on how many people want to get henna tattoos, and or maybe putting a limit on the complexity of the designs to try and move people through a little faster, just so everyone can participate. But we did not talk through cost, so I don't remember.
Last year, we purchased tattoos or tattoo designs and supplies.
Okay.
And that was part of our $288 that we spent. But that was lumped into an order that also included decorations, which we
Okay.
still have. And I'm sorry, Hannah, I didn't ask if you wanted to share anything about your experience last year at Celebrate India.
No, I thought it was great. I mean, I was gonna just ask if they talked about the reader, the
Yep, I
children's
think
book.
we'd like to do that again this year
I
as well.
thought she was really great, and my
Yeah.
kids really
The-
enjoyed that.
My impression, so I didn't make it last year, but my impression was that everyone really enjoyed the reading, in particular because it was done both in English and then in a second.
Bengali, yeah.
Yes,
Bengali.
I'm not sure which
Yeah.
dialect or, yeah.
There are so many dialects
Yeah.
from India, so,
Yeah.
but yes, I thought that was, I thought that was one of the special moments from last year.
I thought the combination of being able to observe things and being able to participate was really cool. And it felt like the community was really sharing their community, not just sitting, taking things in, but there was so much participation from the community. So and my children, so that was they really liked it. But I have a question for so if the city would reimburse it, how does that work practically? Because if it happened at the end of the year, we wouldn't be able to use
Yeah,
it.
it's most likely, it'd be applied back to your budget and just show that went unused. And Kevin had mentioned this to me, this is a new way of doing it. So just to provide some context, our event center is an enterprise fund. It is set up like a business to make money. And so we do charge, we're trying to be more consistent in how we approach city events. So right now, kind of the way they plan to approach it is to charge any city events that want to use that facility, the cost to use that facility, but then they will take a look at it at the end of the year and determine if they can apply that back to that department or whoever's budget. So when does that happen? I am not sure because it's kind of new to this year. So I'm trying to get some more information that, hey, can we look at it in early December so we understand if we want to buy some additional supplies or something for next year, we can do that. So that's my hope, that they will look at it at that time, because by then they'll have the event center all booked out for the remainder of the year, and so we'll have an idea of where things land.
The one other reason to not go back to the lodge, not because that's not a wonderful facility, but we were packed in there, and because of the, I don't know if any of you've noticed, the construction that's going on anywhere near the community center. And so logistically, if they begin that work, which the county thinks that they will start that work, and maybe they'll have it done before, I think I read, before the first snow flies.
It's a risky,
Yeah. It could be any
I
time.
thought that was a risky item to put into a Facebook page, but hey,
They're wishing for snow in September, I think.
I think that
Halloween snow.
if we would have a location, it would probably be at the event center. I mean, that seems to be more centrally located, and you can actually get to the event center these days. Parking's better, yes. So all of the reasons are why we went to looking at the calendar for the event center. So the question is, do we want to authorize, or perhaps do you want to make the recommendation to the commission that we consider a budget authorization up to and including a dollar amount?
You mean to request the dollar amount from our budget?
Yeah.
We can. I had thought it might be more prudent to wait until our September meeting when we have a better idea of whether we have some outside assistance. And then that way, because that will still put us about 2 months away from the event itself.
When do we have to book the
Well, it's
space?
booked.
It is booked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not certain how payment works, if we had to put payment down already, or if that is something that will get charged at the time of the event.
I'll have to ask Kevin. I don't know
Okay.
where he's at in that.
Okay, all right. So TBD.
You should know that on our agenda, it says that our next meeting is going to be in October.
Oh, oops.
So we will not have a meeting, it's in September. Both Jen as vice chair and myself will be unavailable to attend in September, and so therefore, we won't have a meeting.
Okay. So maybe it would be prudent then to approve a budget.
It might be something that way, you know, going forward, that you have X amount of dollars when you're looking at items that you might want to spend, like for food, if you do reach out to the local restaurants, or you take a look at the supplies in the basement and say, wow, we really need to have X, Y, Z. It's certainly not a requirement,
Yeah, so and so the rental fee is $1,700. If we assume food, you know, we pay for some food, either subsidizing the food trucks or bringing in additional food to have inside, you know, would be similar to last year, so that's another $800, so that would put us at $2,500. I think the question then is, do we want to increase that amount to accommodate for more decorations or sort of miscellaneous expenses, and if so, how much? So, I mean, we could just say maybe another $250, so that would put us at $2,750. My math is mathing right? Yeah.
Sounds right.
which would leave us with 1,500 approximately in the budget. And I mean, that would cover the 800 or 900 that we were maybe slotting for, yeah. I'm not sure, so, do people want to discuss that amount? Do we think that's an appropriate budget?
And then hopefully get some assistance with it.
Yeah, and if we are able to get assistance, you know, let's say we get the full $4,000, that would obviously cover the event center. Maybe then we could cover food trucks for people, or we could offer, you know, a wider variety of food. We could increase sort of the decoration budget. I'm sure there are many other ways we could, you know, spend the money to improve the event itself if we wanted. Right.
2750.
So yeah, I guess. Is there a
I'll make a
motion to
motion
approve the budget of $2,750 for the
Celebrate India.
yeah, for the Celebrate India event?
I will make a motion for approving spending up to $2,750, did we say, for the event.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so we have a motion. Are there any further questions or discussion? I will just offer this one thought, and that is that this, the event itself is a celebration of light. And when you read about the celebration of light or the Diwali time, it talks about good over evil, hope over despair, love, family, and community. And those are all synonyms, I think, to the work that the Human Rights Commission does. So, just my thoughts. So we have a motion on the floor made by Jen, seconded by Kichi. Thank you, Kichi. If there's no further questions or discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes carry. Certainly, I will communicate and let you know as soon as I hear anything, if I hear anything from the organizations for funding requests. Indigenous peoples recognition, the only issue, or not issue, the only connecting thread to that is that you've probably noticed, if you've come to downtown Chaska, the continued improvements to downtown Chaska City Square. We hope to have Nate Cabot with us at some point in the future to give us an update about the city square and the Native American mound, Indio burial mounds that are there. I don't think we have anything about veterans acknowledgement. So
Chair, I do have an update from Commissioner Hubbard on that.
great.
He reached out to one of the social studies teachers at Middle School West and inquiring how the Human Rights Commission could partner with or support their Veterans Day event that they have every year. And because teachers are just getting back, he acknowledged Commissioner Hubbard's email, and they are just going to start the event planning for that here in the next couple of weeks, obviously getting back to school, so he will be in touch, but I wanted to let everybody know that that's in the
Great.
works.
Thank you, Martin, if you're watching. So, new business. The Human Rights Award nomination. Would you like to talk about that, Elise?
Certainly, Chair and Commissioners, what I have before you is what staff has put together for the Human Rights Award nomination form. And so as a kind of some history for our newer folks and just a reminder, we revamped this nomination form last year. In response to the 2023 nomination, we had like 10 nominations, and it needed some more detail in order to kind of weed through those nominations. And so the commission worked together, developed this nomination form just to, elicit a little bit more information about the nominees and that sort of thing. And it's up to folks how much they want to write or not write. But it provides the commission some additional details in order to make a decision. So I made no changes to it because I didn't receive any feedback from folks after last year's round. Doesn't mean we can't make things now. What I am suggesting, though, is that nominations are due on Tuesday, December 9th, and then the Human Rights Commission will review them on December 18th. And typically how that works is you'll review them at a work session prior to the meeting, kind of give you a chance to review it, talk about it, and then you'll make the actual recommendation of the award at the meeting later that night. So I'm looking for any feedback that you might have on what you have in front of you as far as that nomination guidelines and the nomination form. And if it looks okay, a motion to approve that, and we'll get that out and going in the community.
Can you remind me is this the thing that we did, like the rubric or whatever, so that we would have criteria that we would judge these things equally?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I failed to include this time was a copy of what that looks like. Basically, it would be a spreadsheet. It allows you to kind of fill it in so you can evaluate, but it just takes kind of all these questions and gives you an opportunity to kind of compare and contrast the nominees.
Any questions?
I think we put significant discussion into it when we were making the changes, and so I don't think, unless somebody sees something glaring on here, I would make a motion to approve this and set the deadline for the December 9th.
I do have a question. Did the form seem to work better last year when we were reviewing nominees? Did it provide the additional, I guess?
We didn't have as many nominees
Oh,
last year.
okay.
Prior to that, we would get various forms of recommendations, recommendations. And they would include handwritten, some informal messaging, and some, of course, wrote out a large proposal or a large recommendation.
And some were word of mouth, even that said, oh, can you nominate this person at your meeting?
Right. So the sense that we have a format for folks to follow that I think is helpful
Mm-hmm. Okay.
as we evaluate the recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we had 2.
Okay.
I think the year before we had 10. I mean, so the numbers vary.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I was just curious if the form, if you were able to obtain better information through use of the form, or more thorough information.
Well, I think
And if there were
following those
any-
questions
Yeah.
kind of gave us it allowed the people nominating to answer the questions that we were going to be looking at when we were deciding
Okay.
who was going to receive the award that year.
Yeah. All right.
As in all cases, it's a good guideline.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jen has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Hannah. So there's been a second that we move forward with the format for the Chaska Human Rights Award, and then getting that out into the community now so that people can begin thinking about and actually completing and submitting a nomination for us to consider. If there's no further discussion, then all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Thank you for putting that together for us to consider, Elise. And next on our new business is a Cinco de Mayo event discussion. So this is a new item for discussion, and Elise will share the information with us.
Sure. Chair and Commissioners, this request came to us from Matt Podorowski. He's city administrator, but he's also the co-president of this year's Rotary. And so this request actually came from the Rotary rather than internally to the city, but I just wanted to share that. And so since 2022, the Chaska Rotary has been putting on a Cinco de Mayo event, usually beginning of May, typically around that May 5th time. And so it's a breakfast event, and volunteers are recognized who have given their time and talents in the community are recognized. So the 2025 recognized were Charlie McDonald of the Chaska Moravian Church, Officer Godinez of the Chaska PD, and Kevin Wright here at the city, and Patty Sinekin of Bountiful Baskets. And a few years ago, the Human Rights Commission was awarded, given an award at that event. Additionally, at that event, there are speakers, I think some dancers and more, just an opportunity to celebrate that culture as well. So the request is, given the time and capacity of those serving on the Rotary, they're having a hard time getting this event put together on an annual basis. And so given the work that the commission, the Human Rights Commission, has been doing, putting on events, and the great things that have come out of this commission, the Rotary is looking to see if the Human Rights Commission would be interested in helping to coordinate that event. Now, all the monetary obligations would be covered by the Rotary. It would not impact the commission's budget, but we would need a group of commissioners to help put that event on. There would likely be Rotary members who would be helping with that too, but the commission would help to spearhead getting that event put together. So as I explained to Matt, I would bring it forward to this commission to discuss and see if there's interest in helping to coordinate that event. So I will turn it, I'm happy to answer what questions I can. I know Chair Carlson and Commissioner Welvert have attended that event in the past.
Did you?
And Commissioner Hannan,
And
when
you
she was
attended-
brand new.
Yes, that's right.
Brand new, yeah.
Yes, thank you. And so if you want to provide some more context about the event, happy to answer any questions you have too about the request.
Erica Kennedy with the Carver County Health Department is also a Rotary member and has been kind of spearheading the activities for the Rotary organization. They've had some great speakers at the events, and I believe last year the Aztec dancers were there. Is that correct? Great decorations, all of the things that one thinks of when you think about a Cinco de Mayo environment celebration, but also supported with good opportunities for connections and education. So, and the community events, or the event center is filled, once again, filled with people interested in knowing about the event, and then opportunity to connect and build goodwill here in our community, so.
So the awards given are not related to the Mexican community, right? It's a separate, or what is the connection with Cinco de Mayo and the awards?
I think that they've been given out by Latino Voices the past couple of years,
They
and
select them.
they've
Okay.
selected individuals who have supported or contributed to, like some time or some effort or whatever to the Latino community in Chaska. They've made some kind of impact in that way. I don't know what their exact criteria is or anything, but does that sound kind of accurate?
Yeah. So Latino Voices is a partner with the Rotary in the event?
I think they're heavily involved with it.
Okay.
They've done that, like, they talk about the people that are winning the awards, that are receiving the awards, and then, and they hand them out and stuff. So I think that they are pretty involved with the planning part, at least that part of it.
I think if the commission wants to partner with the Rotary Foundation, or the Rotary Club, excuse me, then that would certainly be a logical reach out to Latino Voices, and perhaps even Mikasa, the other organization that's present in activities in Chaska, to see if they are interested in joining that partnership. I think that's a very reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, my impression of the event was that it aligned very well with the types of events that we already put on. It's about honoring certain community members and, being grateful, thankful, showing thanks for the support that they're obtaining in Chaska by various means, and then celebrating a specific community and, highlighting what is important within that culture in, a way that requires some sort of larger organizational capacity. So.
And are they looking for volunteers at the event or for planning or both?
For both.
For both. Okay.
The planning is the big piece of it. The Rotary would also help volunteer the day of, but I think, so the planning's the big piece.
Big piece, okay.
I mean, my impression is that we have the capacity to assist, so.
Yeah. Mhm.
Why not?
Did they say when they kind of start their planning in full force or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Just wondering.
I think hearing the direction from you this evening, and I think it would be good to have a vote from you as well. I will go back, get more information, and start to put together the information needed, and then solicit, like we do the rest of our committees, find a committee of 2 or 3 that are willing to kind of help work on this with, as Chair Carlson mentioned, Erica Kennedy, Latino Voices, Mikasa, those that have been regularly involved in the event as well.
Could we make a vote for like doing it for a year and see how it goes, and then yeah.
I
As opposed to
think
permanently adopting the event?
Yeah.
Well, I think that that's a reasonable thing to think about. We have several core events. We do Dr. King. We do River City Days. We do Pride. Those are our 2 summer activities. And then we do some smaller events, activities in October and November, but we try to have another cultural event. And whether or not the cultural event next year would be something associated with the Indian culture or another culture or cultures from around the world or wherever. I mean, that is certainly always up for discussion. But, so I think limiting our volunteer capacity, because we all are volunteers, makes sense to me, but
Do we know, was this request meant to be like an ongoing kind of request, or was it just for next year?
There was no specific timeline attached to it, so I think it is easy to go back and say, the Human Rights Commission is willing to do it next year, and then would like to have that opportunity to evaluate it as they do every other event that they put on and determine their capacity to do it for the following year.
All right.
I mean, we always try to have an after-action report to determine whether or not our time was worthy of our efforts, and to support the goal that says we're here to promote goodwill and establishing our community for all here in Chaska. So that makes sense to me that we would take a look at what it would take after next, in June of 2026, and say, is this something that we want to continue, pursue, continue to partner? Certainly the Rotary and the Lions are community members that we always want to engage with, certainly along with all of our other city departments and our county departments. So
I just think, I mean, it sounds like it's similar to some of the events we do, and it's a community with a large presence in Chaska that we have not done a lot of events around, so I think that's, you know, it's not like we already have a Latin American Heritage Festival the next month or anything like that, so
right.
I think it makes sense.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So
Did
moved.
someone? Okay.
Do I need to give more than that?
So
For next year.
let's see. So it's the commission's desire to partner with the Chaska Rotary Organization to help celebrate a Cinco de Mayo in May of 2026, with the understanding that we would evaluate to determine if we would move forward. Is that your motion?
Precisely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Having heard none, those in favor of supporting this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry.
Do we need to come up with a committee right now, or is that something we do in January, or?
No, I think given the time of the event, we'd want to form a committee soon. Let me go back. I will follow up with the commission, and we'll get a committee formed when I understand more about kind of what the expectations are, who from the Rotary and other organizations are working together. So I can provide more information so you can determine if that's a committee you want to be on.
Okay.
Our belonging message. I don't know if any of you get the Star Tribune, but this is the headlines. In the past, we have developed empathetic statements with regards to issues that have happened in our community or has affected the world. And I couldn't help but think that our belonging message tonight has to be a little bit about what has happened in our community, in our neighboring community. And so I read the words of the principal and the priest from Annunciation Catholic School. No words can capture what we have gone through, what we are going through, and what we will go through in the coming days and weeks. But we will navigate this together. And then I turn to the words of someone who came from Gary, Indiana, my home state. In a world filled with hate, we must dare to hope. In a world filled with anger, we must still dare to comfort. In a world filled with despair, we must still dare to dream. And in a world filled with distrust, we must still dare to believe. Those words probably were accompanied with a strong beat and incredible dancing, neither of which I can offer you tonight, other than the fact that we are about hope in our community and moving forward. So, are there any announcements? Britt?
I have none, no. I mean, other than welcoming
Absolutely.
my newest addition. Yeah,
Which she has fully participated in our meeting this evening.
yep, she has. She, for the most part, was a good one. A little fussy at the beginning, but no, that's it.
Gotta raise your voice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hannah, any announcements? Jen?
The Family Resource Center has had a soft launch, they're calling it, at the Chaska Moravian Church, which means they're kind of getting their feet under themselves right now, figuring out what their scheduling is going to look like and what their programming is going to look like. They've had a few different organizations come in and try some meeting times and had some community members come in, but there is nothing that's available for the general public yet, but don't be surprised if they ask you to come to the Moravian Church instead of some other place that you go sometimes, because we're just trying to figure out what is going to be best for the community and makes the most sense for hours and stuff for the Family Resource Center.
And the Family Resource Center is a partnership between the Moravian Church and A Better Society.
Yep.
Okay.
And right now I think they're working with Carver County at least one day a week. I'm not sure how many days. I'm only in the office there one day a week. But I think there's 2 other organizations that they've been partnering with lately to try and figure out this scheduling and stuff, so. It'll grow, but, they want to make sure they're doing it right, so it's great.
Great. Kichi?
No announcements.
Elise?
Nothing.
Okay, so we will next be together on October 23rd, 2025. Thank you all for being here tonight. We'll see you then. Motion to adjourn? Thank you.